is it going? My name is Olya Sidi. Let me take a short bit of time to talk about the role of social responsibility in implementation of democratic values. Let's start from the essentials. Democracy is a system of government by the whole population of all eligible members of a state, typically through elected representatives. That is what Wikipedia says us about the democracy. But is it less or more? Can you find out more about the democracy by trying to discover it as a group of values, way of thinking, and not only as a system of election? Maybe in the parallel world there is actually a perfect country where all values of democracy such as liberty, equality and justice are provided for the society. But does the parallel world exist? We can define the democratic country is a state in which human and political rights are well respected. The country where the fundamental rights of its citizens and human beings are respected. It's pretty much similar to what we have now. But if we dig into it, we understand that we are not really at that point of progress. The main problem of our society is that most of the people think that should be provided with the opportunity to grow, equality and justice everywhere. But truth, if we want to transform the principal values to democratic, we need to work hard as much as we can and defend our rights in order to bring our concept into the life. For example, no social changes came from the nothing. Some people have to work really hard to get some bills passed or implement some challenges. The example of this are suffrage. Universal suffrage, women and equal suffrage. The history shows us that any goal could be reached without someone putting his time, money and life into it. That is why we are saying that democratic changes lays on people's shoulders. Only society can let this or that thing to be implemented. From this, we also can see a problem. Sometimes society is not ready yet to change their style of living or way of thinking, or they are just too lazy to do it. Bringing social responsibility is the main part of reaching a social goal. It could be done by giving proper education and setting a right values in childhood. If a person is developed in intellectual way, then it is easier to explain what is important to society and start working together on it. But it all depends on what is going in their families, towns, countries and minds. The main idea of social responsibility is that actions of individual must benefit the whole of the society. But that is the reason why this individual and this society should be conscious and intelligent. If the biggest question among people is how to buy a new TV, make more money and buy a new TV, we have a huge problem with education and sense of living at all. The concept of social responsibility is usually applied to the business sphere, but we can come across this statement by bringing up as an example implementing equality rights and liberty. In this way, we have to find a balance between order and liberty. Often society finds an important way by acting according to the law. But our society also expects another type of balance, like equality, liberty and order. In this way, I should say that the line has to be drawn before an individual seizes the power that greatly restricts the liberty of others. Democracies have come in many shades and sizes, as reflected as different answers to questions of how, when, to which people power is given. That is a reason why the social responsibility should be on a high level. In other way, those democratic values and democracy would evaluate themselves. Democracy is never a thing done. Democracy is always something that a nation must be doing, says Archibald MacLeish, an American poet and writer. In his opinion, people have to maintain democracy and in the country to maintain the process of rule and living right. Democracy was always a way to bring something to life, by making a protest in front of the Parliament House or pass a bill. It is allowed and it was allowed, because we live in democratic countries. The process of democratizing the country is not easy at any time. no matter is it 18th century or 21st. I can explain this by giving as an example my motherland Ukraine. The history of my country is full of hardships, ups and downs. During the 18th and 20th and 21st century, Ukraine was divided by different countries, and they weren't fair to us, and talking about equality and liberty sounded more like a joke. In the 20th century, Ukraine was occupied by Soviet Union, but people of the country couldn't agree with it. Couldn't agree with inequality, injustice and national slavery. This is the reason why the rebel movements, patriotic organizations started to act. With the collapse of the Soviet Union, Ukrainian communists, some of the Ukrainian communists, came to the rule. And it was more like a post-Soviet country, but not like an independent country with democratic values. In 2014, the Revolution of Dignity brought the end to this chaos by changing not only the authority, but changing the way of society thinking, perspectives and views. It was called the Revolution because it had a huge value on making progress in the country. Now we are on the way of European integration. We can talk about injustice and inequality. As I said before, if society is responsible for their actions, their choices, we can say that democracy is doing its job. But as I said, those choices have to be balanced and conscious. Do not turn the democracy and its values into a chaos. For conclusion, I want to say, the social responsibility plays a huge role in implementation of democratic values. First of all, it shows the level of society progress, if they worry not only the essential needs. Also, it explains why this or that country could reach a huge success. Democracy is the people. The people is the country. If we evaluate this, we have to pay more by being unhappy with what we have, by having corruption and putting lives of our citizens to reach a goal and bring some challenges. The perfect world doesn't exist, at least now. And such things as democratic values weren't provided for us since the beginning of people's population. They were gained by the society for the society. So, I encourage you to be responsible for what you are doing in your life. By getting a proper education, following your dream, being a good specialist and reach goals in honest way. I encourage you to be responsible for what is going in your country and rather support it or change. I encourage you to be strong with your beliefs and develop yourself, your community and your country. Thank you.